What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson. Welcome to post No Shave November. Um, this is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode 9. Yeah, season 1, episode 9, or season 3, episode 9. This show it knows what to do. It knows what to leave off on to set up for an epic mid-season finale. And dang it if it didn't just build up all this tension to have it end on a cliffhanger. God, okay. Trying to process all of this. It starts off maybe a little bit predictable. I could just, I don't know, maybe it was just me, but I could kind of sense something was about to happen at the very beginning. You got Coulson and Rosalind in her place. They're eating, and then you hear a gunshot, hole in the window. Coulson looks at the window, looks back at Rosalind, and she got shot. And sure enough, they follow, a very far distance away, and it's Ward. So, it's hard because on the one hand, it was kind of sad seeing Coulson react to it. Seeing him really be upset by this. But on the other hand, I didn't really like Rosalind to begin with. Like, even when I learned she was a good guy, I still didn't like her. And I especially didn't like her for Coulson, even though they were similar. And plus, Coulson still got Cello Lady, so, whatever. Forget Rosalind. But really, I didn't really have that much of a connection to her. I knew Coulson did, and that's what hurt about it. But as far as losing her, it was just kind of like, okay, I could kind of see it coming because there had to be something to, spark Coulson going after him, and so it made sense that this is what they would do. So we didn't really lose somebody very important, but she was important to Coulson, and that's what matters. So he's really upset. He gets a call from Ward, and pretty much tells him, let's settle this now. Of course he does. He says no, goes away, and it was kind of funny because Coulson texts. I guess he was texting Mac. He's like, need extraction, and then he starts just shooting all the guys. I'm just like, yeah, he doesn't need extraction. he's good. But Mac does come and give him a ride out of there. And so obviously this episode is about, from there, it's Coulson's mission to take down Ward and possibly Hydra in the process, but he's mainly focused on Ward. Kind of, when Ward killed Kara, his main focus was, going after S.H.I.E.L.D. and what they did. Or whenever, whenever Ward nearly killed Bobby, how Hunter was going after him. So it was kind of expected. I kind of knew this is where it was going, and I also knew that because his emotions were getting the best of him, I kind of figured that things were about to go wrong for S.H.I.E.L.D. But the one good thing he did do is he put Mac in charge. He made him, what's it called? Kind of like an interim director, just to take his place while he was gone. I'm like, that's great. That is a genius move because Mac, he could definitely be director. I could see it. He has that leading. You could see him leading. And once again, I'm yawning in the middle of a review because I don't sleep well and I hate my life. I don't really hate my life, but I do hate the fact that I can never get enough sleep. But he's able to lead, and on top of that, he's very smart. He's always been Coulson's voice of reason, because there have been moments when Coulson's making a decision that everybody's like, "What are you doing, Coulson?" And Mac's always the one that kind of gets through to him, that gets him to think about the reasonable side. And without him, there have been many times where Coulson probably would have done one thing, but Mac comes in and says, "Hang on a minute," and Coulson's like, "Okay, we'll have a backup plan." And the backup plan ends up being what works. So, very good decision there. As far as Mac goes, you can see him struggling with what to do. You got Fitz and Simmons I'm sorry. I'm not mad at you, watcher, viewer, whatever. I'm mad at myself. Anyway, you got Fitz and Simmons going with Agent Banks, the ATCU guy, to this abandoned place where the NASA thing was. And then all of a sudden he starts shooting the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. And then like the gun is like moving in his hand. I'm just like, okay, so that guy with the controlling the gun thing's here. Sure enough, he's like, I'm not doing this. And the gun turns around, and being the epic ATCU agent that he is, he doesn't move at all, and he just gets shot in the head. Because that's, whenever I get somebody on my team, what I want them to do is, if a gun is ever pointed at their head, I want them to just stand there in fear. Because that is what a good agent does. They don't try to move out the way of a bullet. They just, okay, shoot me now. Shoot me. Come on. And that is the one nitpick that I have in this episode, is that, I mean, seriously? Like, he feels the gun moving in his hand, and shot, he can't control it, shot, and then it starts turning in his hand towards him, and he really just, I'm not doing this! What's going on, guys? I don't get it! And that, it just didn't make any sense. I was like, seriously? Like, you're not even going to try to move? You're just going to let yourself get shot in the head. You're an idiot. So anyway, the one nitpick I have, I think it was a stupid loss because Banks could have been useful in the fight against Hydra, and to lose him like that, with the gun slowly turning towards his head, and he doesn't even try to move out the way, that was dumb for me. That was really dumb. I would have preferred he'd gone down, like, he dodges out of the way of the first one, and then the guy that can control the metal is, like, grabbing grabbing AKs and, other machine guns off of the dead S.H.I.E.L.D. agents and shooting at him. He's, like, trying to dodge out the way, and then finally one gets him in the leg, and then all the guns, like, surround him while he's wounded on the floor, and then shoot him. That would have been a better way to go out. That would have been, okay, at least he tried. It was too much. But this was just, like, gun turns slowly, aims, fire! So, anyway. One nitpick I have, Enzo Fitzsimmons get captured. Like I said, Mac really struggling, doesn't know what to do. Calls Coulson. Coulson gets mad, throws phone. You may see me slap myself a couple times. It's how I try to stay awake. Okay. So Mac's trying to figure out what to do. Eventually, May comes in, and he's like, he's showing her all this stuff. He's like, they've got all of these people out here, and that's not even the worst part. They've got artillery, they've got anti-aircraft missiles, and the worst part is, Coulson told him that he's coming, and May's just like, what would you do? You're the director now, you make the call. And at first I was just like, call in the cavalry? Maybe? But then they get into the new bus. I'm assuming that's what it is. It looks like the bus, but a bit different. I think they called it Zephyr, which is a bow in Skyrim. So anyway, just making weird connections in my mind. But he gets Lincoln, and then I think his name is Joey, the one that can melt the metal. They get him and Lincoln and a bunch of other S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, and he has this moment where it shows why he deserves to be the acting director, because he uses some of the same lines that Coulson uses on him to get him to agree to the acting director role, and gets them on board. And so it's just this nice moment where it's just like, okay, they're heading over there. That's the last we see of them for this episode, so likely that will be part of the story next episode. As far as Fitz and Simmons, you've got Ward, since he knows them so well. Okay. Because Ward knows them so well, he knows what to do. So he splits them up. He gets the Mr. Metal guy. He gets him working on Simmons while he sits in an adjoining room where he can hear everything with Fitz. And I'm just like, this is torture. This is really torture. This. And he knows. I knew exactly what he was doing, and he knew exactly what he was doing. He knew that Fitz would jump in. He knew Fitz would jump in the way of a bullet to save Simmons. Like that's just he knows Fitz so well, and I hate Ward for that. And I really hope he dies. Um, and it's kind of interesting now how like all throughout season two, with everything going on with Ward, I was thinking to myself, yeah, he's a bad guy. Yeah, he's kind of evil. But whenever they brought him back for the Dirty Half Dozen episode, and they were all together, I was like, maybe give him some time. Maybe. Maybe he can. Maybe he can turn over. Obviously, being a psychopath is kind of a. But maybe he can be a psychopath for S.H.I.E.L.D. Like maybe they can use him to their advantage. Yeah, it would take some time, but yeah, why not? And then everything happens at the end, and I'm just like, okay, so maybe not. And then all throughout the first half of this season, he's just becoming more and more of a douche, and I'm just like, okay, now he can die. Now I'll be okay if Ward dies. And I feel like that's what they're setting up for. I feel like if they had killed off Ward back when Daisy shot him in the mid-season finale of season two, I feel like a lot of people probably would have missed him. Like been, why'd you kill Ward? Like it's Ward. Yeah, he's not a good guy anymore, but it's Ward. Like you can't kill him. And now they're just totally making him into just a douchebag to the point where I feel like everybody now at this point should completely hate him. Like there's no room for redemption. Just go ahead and kill him. I don't care. Just go kill him at this point. And then again, Brett Dalton is such a good actor that I feel like that's why he's been kept on the show so long. Like, because he makes Ward such a compelling character to have on there, even as a villain. Like he's been such a good villain to hate on the show. So this may be the end for him. This last episode really makes me want him to die more than ever. So maybe that's what they're setting up for. I don't know. But anyway, so they're torturing Simmons while Fitz is listening. Finally, Fitz decides he's going to go with them to the other side. And so, it's very interesting seeing this happen. And it's really hard for me to process everything that happens next. Coulson, because he's an idiot, just completely letting his emotions run the show. Interesting thing though, they go rob a bank, and I'm just like, wait, what? And then they get this guy that's in there. I'm like, what is this, like a Hydra agent in disguise? Like who? And then all of a sudden, like Thomas Grant, and I'm like, oh, it's the little brother. Oh. And sure enough, it's the little. I honestly thought he was dead. Like I thought what happened at the well killed him, but apparently not. Apparently he's still alive. He changed his name to get away from Grant, and finally learned that what happened at the well, Grant's the one that pushed him down. But from that point on, like everything else that Ward said was true, according to Little Brother. Like their parents were kind of abusive, Christian was kind of abusive, and Ward was protecting his little brother for most of, but what happened at the well was all Ward's fault. And so, it's kind of interesting to finally learn that, yeah, Ward was telling the truth about some of that at least. But we finally do learn what happened at the well. And apparently since that day, like, Ward has always been very protective of his little brother. Like, that's... it's almost like that moment made him feel so guilty that he was just like, okay, I can't, I can't do that again. I can't let anything like that happen to you again. I'm sorry. And now he's all out trying to protect him. And so, they get him, call Ward, let him talk to his little brother, use that to trace his location. And then when Ward finds out that's what they were doing, he throws his phone. So a lot of phones being broken in this episode. But that in turn causes Ward to like go torture Simmons himself, and that's when Fitz agrees to go through the portal. But Coulson's just like so driven that he's going in, and even though they're completely outnumbered, he decides whatever, I'm gonna go do this. Uh, and so they get there, they're reading the heat signatures inside. They see, Coulson immediately pinpoints Ward and Fitzsimmons, and they realize, they're probably gonna take either Fitz or Simmons with them. That'd be the smart thing to do. Uh, but Ward, in the scene before this, is talking to Malik, the main Hydra guy, and Malik's just convincing him to go through the portal, to lead the men through the portal. He's like, no, I gotta stay behind, take out S.H.I.E.L.D. when they show up. This is, and he's just like, I can't believe you let a personal vendetta get in the way of something great. And just using his words convinces Ward to go. And I'm just like, that's something that nobody else has been able to do. Garrett was the one that took him out of what he was in and, raised him to be this killer, this Hydra agent. And, so Garrett was the only one that could get through to Ward. Everybody else was just, whatever, you're not Garrett to me. This is the first time I've seen anybody convince Ward to do something. So I'm wondering if Malik is maybe something special. Like maybe he, maybe his words. I'm thinking about Jessica Jones and the main guy Kilgrave in that series, and he can say whatever he wants and that they'll do whatever he says. In this case, obviously probably not the same thing, but I'm wondering if maybe he does have some sort of special power to, maybe not mind control, but people are easily swayed with him. Either that or Ward is just really gullible at this point and is like, I don't know. Like, it was so weird to see Ward, this guy who never gets convinced by anybody, who doesn't get fooled by anybody, get fooled by this guy, it was so unlike Ward, which makes me wonder who is this Malik? Like, who is this Malik that was able to do this to him, to convince him to practically sacrifice himself, instead of staying behind to complete this closure mission he has going on. So, interesting tidbit. I wonder if they'll touch on that later, and I don't know. It's interesting to see that and to see if it'll actually be a part of the episode later. And so Fitz goes in, Ward goes in, you're just like, well, too late. Not for Coulson. Nope. He opens up the back and jumps out, and I'm just like, you're an idiot. And then just goes, dives bombs right into the portal. No plan, just jump in the portal. I'm finishing this. Dang it, Coulson! Why? Why, oh why, oh why, oh why can't you just get it through your head? I love Coulson. He's a character that I enjoy to watch. Clark Gregg is just a brilliant actor when it comes to playing Coulson. Just throughout all the seasons, he's been so fun to watch. Watching him build the character arc from trying to understand what happened at his death to going crazy in season 2 to becoming director of S.H.I.E.L.D. Throughout season 2. But now it's just like, really? Like, I get Rosalind was important to you, but you're really just gonna... Why? Why? You know Ward is trying to bait you. You know that he did this on purpose, and you know this stuff, and you're not listening to your rational brain because you're... It made me facepalm. Whenever I saw him jump into the portal, I'm like, he's an idiot. He's really an idiot. Like, it's so hard for me to express how frustrated that scene made me. And probably not just me, like, everybody was probably a bit upset by that, but for me it's just like, I don't understand how you can know one thing and he's supposed to be this agent who's just extremely smart. He should know every aspect, every outcome, and yes, maybe he got a little bit close on this one, but that's when you bench yourself. You say, okay, Mac, you take over. I'm too emotionally invested, And he's done that before. He's done it before where he knew that he was too close. He couldn't get involved in this, so he sat back and let somebody else take the reins. And in this case, it's just like, no, no. You know he did it on purpose. You know he killed Rosalind on purpose. I don't care. He did that on purpose to draw you. I don't care. Get a hold of yourself, Coulson. Come on, this is not the Coulson I know. It's frustrating. It really is. And I know it's part of... It's not like Agent Banks frustrating where the gun's slowly turning and he could have easily dodged out of the way. It's like part of the story frustrating where they obviously wrote that in just because, you know, it's part of the characters. It's not a mistake on the writer's part. It's a mistake on the character's part, and being emotionally invested in the show makes me just frustrated whenever characters make stupid decisions like this, and I just want to punch them in the face, but then they're not real, so I can't actually go punch Clark Gregg in the face because he's not actually Coulson, he's actually Clark Gregg, and this is his actor and his character. If I punch him in the face, then I'll probably get arrested, and I don't want that to... Why? Go. Okay. So, obviously, now Coulson's in the other world. They have a moment where, you know, they show Ward and his team with Fitz, and they hear a noise, which I think may have been Coulson going through the portal. But they're searching for this Inhuman on the other side, and to bring it back because Hydra wants to rule the world with the help of this all-powerful Inhuman. Which, if he really is all-powerful, do you really think he's going to take orders from Hydra? I don't think he'll need any servants. Like, it's... Okay, I'm going to talk about the Inhuman in a second, but the final scene is Coulson shooting out of the portal, landing on a hill, rolling down the hill, like just... It's not like, roll, it's like, bam, 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 and then hits his head on a rock. And so that's where they leave off, and who knows what's going to happen next. There are a few things I do need to talk about, though, for the next episode, and possibly future episodes. The Inhuman himself. I really, really, really hope they don't go this way, because it would just be too cliche, it would be too dumb. I feel like they might make Will, like, either Will was the Inhuman, and the dark, scary thing was a projection that he put out or something. I don't know. I'm worried they're going to make Will the Inhuman that was sent over. That would be really dumb, because they've already done, you know, Andrew being Lash was already a, oh my gosh, plot twist. They don't need another one in the same series, or in the same half of a season. You know, having Will be the Inhuman would just be like, we only threw Will in to make it hard for Fitzsimmons to get together, but now that we know he's the Inhuman, well, now Fitzsimmons can't get together. I prefer Will just be a regular guy that actually did save Simmons, and even though I want Fitzsimmons together, I want good things for Fitz, making him the Inhuman would just be a little bit too obvious, and a bit, you know, like I said, we don't need another, oh, this person's the Inhuman, bet you didn't see that coming. It would just be too similar to finding out Andrew was Lash. So I really hope they don't go that way. I prefer Will just be an astronaut that gets sent over. Now, if he was a projection by the Inhuman, now that would be an interesting twist. But if he was actually the Inhuman itself, that would be dumb for me. Now, the Inhuman itself, I thought it was very curious because Hydra said they've been sending over Inhumans, which they had several, I think. But they've been sending Inhumans over to serve this thing, and yet, when Simmons was over there with Will, didn't even see one? So I'm wondering if the Inhuman on that planet is killing them, or feeding off of them, or... I don't know what's happening, but there were no Inhumans over there whenever she was over there. Unless Will is an Inhuman, like, not that Inhuman, but a different Inhuman, that would be interesting. But yeah, she didn't see any Inhumans, she only saw the one that they were talking about. So, I'm very curious, very interesting. Wonder what happened to all the Inhumans. I feel like maybe this thing just, it feeds off the life force of Inhumans. That would be pretty twisted. So that's another thing. The final thing that may play in, Coulson, after what happens with Rosalind, sits down with all of the team, uh, the original team, to find out what, just ask them questions about Ward, get as much as he can about Ward. And there are moments where they kind of feel like you kind of feel like they really do know more about Ward than they think. Especially Coulson, talking to all of them, finds out bits and pieces about Ward, and uses that to his little brother. That's how he uses that information to find the little brother. But there are a couple things that were said that may play in later. Um, One, when he's talking to Fitz, Fitz is talking about how he always felt like he was a brother to me, but it almost felt like he was trying to replace something in his life that he lost. And it made me think, because Ward, at any time he saw Fitz, he kind of, it may have been a really good act, but it seems like whenever he saw Fitz, he kind of softened up. Like even in this, yeah, he was torturing Fitz by torturing Simmons next to him, but he didn't want to hurt Fitz himself. And I thought that could just be a very good ploy to, it's the only way to get through to Fitz is to hurt Simmons. But it feels like every single time he talks to Fitz, like he just has this soft spot for him. And it could be, like Fitz says, like Fitz says, it could be that he sees him like a replacement for his little brother, which could play in later. And then when Daisy's talking to Coulson, obviously she tells him about how he wanted her to Ward wanted her to understand who he was, because they similar backgrounds. And there's just this interesting moment where she kind of admits that yeah she kind of understood him and she kind of felt for him, but once he saw, like, one of the things that she pointed out, which is what may play in later, is that he doesn't kill because he doesn't have emotions. He kills because he does have emotions. And it's so true. Like, you think about all of the times that he's killed innocent people. Koenig. Koenig figured out about him, Hydra, was about to out him as a Hydra agent, which would have affected his chances with Daisy. Emotions played in, and he killed Koenig. You think about when he killed, who was it? There's somebody in season 2. I'm trying to think. Most of the people he killed in season 2, I've tried. Okay, oh yeah, his brother. We killed him in season 2. A lot of emotions there, obviously. All the people he killed throughout, working with Daisy's dad was to get to Daisy. A lot of emotions have played in there. Killing Kara, Kara, thinking she was May. Emotions playing in there, torturing Bobby, emotions playing in there. So everything he's done has been emotional. Even killing Rosalind in this episode, it was to get back at Coulson for, losing Kara. And so that could play in later. That could be. Now, if he dies next episode, obviously it's not going to play in later. But it could. That could be something that maybe Coulson thinks about later. Maybe he realizes that Ward's not as much of a psychopath as he thought he is. I don't know. Like I said, at this point, having him back on the team just seems like it's never ever going to happen. Whereas in season 2, well, it might happen. Some stuff's got to change first, but yeah, I could see it. At this point, it's just like I could never see him coming back to the team. But maybe there is a side of him that Coulson can exploit. I don't know. They've done so well so far building this up that I feel like they've already got a plan. Whatever happens, happens. But yeah, really good episode. Aside from that one nitpick, Agent Banks, just dodge, man. Just dodge out of the way. You can do it. Anyway, but yeah, rest of the episode was really good. Really got me emotionally involved. especially with the whole Coulson thing. Really excited to see where it goes. I really hope that nobody on the good side dies next episode, but you never know. You never know with this show. So what'd you think? Comment down below, let me know, and leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this review. I'll see you at the next one. Peace out.